going on, guys? So, today I wanted to talk about the topic of pornography, especially with young men, even in the faith community. So, why is it so hard to break this cycle? I'm gonna tell you my story. For many, I came across, on my iPad, someone gave me an iPad for some dumb reason when I was younger. Worst mistake ever. And you're kind of scrolling through your iPad one day. One thing leads to another. You somehow end up on some Pornhub website. You start getting curious. You start looking stuff up. And that little search it just led to years and years of an uncontrollable porn addiction. I'm talking about, I did this since 5th grade, 10 years old. Little kid, man. And sitting there watching it, multiple times a day, every day type thing, It was kind of like sick, messed up. And as the years went by, there would be periods where I wouldn't do it. But as the years went by, and once you get older and, got into high school, it was an everyday thing. You're talking about, like, I couldn't stop. And I remember thinking to myself one day, you come across like the red pill, no fat videos, don't, the graphs and the charts and all that stuff. And, you kind of try out, you try to go on a streak, and, you break the streak and you try again, and you start giving up. You start ending up like thinking like, is this even possible? Is it even like, possible to actually break this cycle? And me personally, I'm a Christian, and, it kind of really ruined my relationship with God. It tainted the way I saw women. It just kept ruining my life. But, like, I wanted to come on here, and this is what I really wanted to, like, let you guys know. I've been free from that stuff for 2 years now, close to 2 years. And the biggest secret to really breaking the cycle is not, deleting the apps from your phone or putting like restrictions on your phone or anything like that. Or, like all the methods people say, like, oh, keep yourself busy, just stop laying around the house all day, which there is some truth to that. Like, that can help us. But if you don't change your mind about pornography, you're gonna find a way. You're gonna come back to it eventually. There's this golden state where you forget, that pornography and like jacking off is even a thing. Like, if you're sitting there like, okay, I'm on day 4 now, like day 5, you're basically telling yourself like, this is only like a temporary streak, and that eventually I'm gonna succumb. There's people that go on like these 300-day streaks, like they're still thinking about that. Like, oh yeah, I'm on day 301. Don't mess up. We need to change our mindset about these things. It's almost like this is the golden state of the no-fap, like breaking this addiction for once and for all. Like, you literally forget that porn and no-fap is even a thing. Like, you literally forget that it's a thing. But how do you get to this golden state of like, you literally don't even get the urge, or like the thought doesn't even cross your mind anymore? Like, you're not even resisting. It's just, there's no resistance there anymore. How do you get to that state? You literally, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you think that you may, like, there's downsides to watching porn. That's why you're trying to stop. But let me tell you something. You haven't changed your mind about porn yet. You still, like, you may think like, oh, how am I not gonna change my mind? Of course I know it's bad. You don't believe that it's bad. That's the problem here. You don't believe that it's bad. You don't believe that it's hurting you. Like, in your mind, you know that, like, people are telling you, oh yeah, like, it's gonna lower your testosterone. Oh, it's gonna lower the way, it's gonna ruin the way you see things, your mental health. But you really haven't really like embraced it fully. When you start thinking about little kids being trafficked, like 14-year-old girls being trafficked, and portrayed on Pornhub as a 22-year-old, and you're getting off to that, that's deep right there. Like, that really hits home. You know, when you start thinking about your like future marriage, how it's gonna be, like, people are getting divorced because there's a man in the house that can't control his porn addiction. People are getting divorced. There's children being fatherless now because of porn addiction. Like, you got to see the severity of this thing. It's not just an innocent, you know, time of pleasure or whatever you want to call it. This is deep stuff. It's ruining, like, if you have faith in God, it's ruining your relationship with God. You know? And you start thinking about, like, you're contributing to literal human trafficking every time you watch a video. You're ruining your mental health. You're making yourself more depressed. You're ruining your dopamine, the way your dopamine works in your brain. Because when you get that much stimulation from watching porn, like, that is stimulating the crap out of your mind. And when you go out into the real world, everything else just seems dull. Like, everything just seems like super boring because you're ruining your dopamine in your brain. Like, it's just, this is kind of like bro science. Like, I know that I ain't got no studies with me or anything, but if you can just trust me on this, and, you know, I've looked into this stuff, and if you guys just simply change your mind, that this is like the one thing that really helped me. You simply change your mind about porn. Like, you simply change your mind, your deep-rooted beliefs in it. Because, like, you know, like, oh, you know, like, every time you do it, you basically think that it's not doing anybody any harm. And then, you know, when you get that post-nut clarity, you're like, oh, no, bro, like, why did I do that? But you basically just, of course, we're going to mess up. Like, there's going to be there's going to be times when we mess up. That's just kind of part of the process. But, like, when you, like, every time you're about to go do the deed, you're thinking about a 14-year-old being trafficked and turned into a 22-year-old. Dude, if you have any bit of self-control or any bit of, how can I even explain this? Like, I can't find the word, but you know what I mean. If there's any heart left in you, you wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? You're ruining, you know, your own mental health. You're literally causing yourself erectile dysfunction. I'm talking about, like, that's a story for another day. I could get deep into that, but you're literally causing yourself future, like when you get with your wife one day or some girl, you're literally not going to be able to get up because you're so used to, like, the super stimulating, like, Pornhub videos. And so when you get, like, you know, the reality, like, those things are fake. Those videos are fake. Half the time, half of that stuff is fake, like, way exaggerated. So when you get into, like, the real thing, you're literally just, like, not stimulated by it. Like, it's just not doing it for you. You're ruining your life by doing this. I hope this was help to somebody. I hope that, you know, you sit down and you just think about, like, do I really believe this is bad for me? Every time you're about to do the deed, think about that 14-year-old that's being trafficked just to satisfy your desires. Think about that 14-year-old girl. You know why they're doing this? Because they know that people like me and you have these lustful desires that we can't control. They're making money. They're monetizing through our, you know, they're making money because of us, because we just can't control ourselves. And I know you may be thinking, oh, well, if I stop, then, like, what difference is that going to make? But do it for yourself, man. Do it for your own dignity, man. And more than anything, do it for God. You guys, you know, some people don't believe in God. That's a story for another day. But if you're not going to do it for that, at least do it for yourself, man. That's all I got to say. Hope this was some help to somebody. And comment if you got any questions. See you guys in the next one.